What's up, Bimblebops? It's your boy Skimble over here with the One Piece. It's a new chapter week. That's right, it's Opum. I'm Patrick. This is Obscure Reference, and we're going to be reading the new chapter of One Piece that's dropped this morning, officially. John is out. He is unfortunately preoccupied today, so he's like, Patrick, I give you my blessing. You may go. Read the new One Piece chapter without me. I will be fine, but not unhurt. So I'm going to read this chapter without him, and we send all of our good vibes to him because, I don't know, because we feel like it, because we're good people. All right, so now enough blabbing about. We are going to be reading this chapter 1139, Mountain Eater. But before we do, we gotta check in on Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 25. We captured a rebellious duo. So yeah, it looks like Who's Who and his gang have captured Yamato and the other girl. Oh, see, this is what happens when John's not here. Is I forget names, and he knows some names better than me. It's not Toko, is it? This is embarrassing. We're not gonna cut it out. We're gonna keep it as is. One piece little girl. Wano. No, that's a different one. Tama, thank you. John's screaming right now. I just know it. He's sneezing somewhere. And he's just like, he forgot who Tama was, didn't he? So yeah, who's unsheathing his sword, and it looks like Yamato and Tama are on the ground there. They're silhouetted, so there's a chance it's not them, but we'll see. Okay, moving on to the official chapter itself, and just a bit of a heads up. I was spoiled because One Piece Twitter can't keep to themselves when the translation comes out. So I have unfortunately been spoiled on things that we more or less knew. So it's not like the end of the world, but I'll point it out when we get to it. Okay, so we are back at the castle that we left our trio at, with Roto, of course. We've been looking for this key for a while now. Are we even going to find in this huge place before sundown? And this is Zoro. They're looking. I think they're looking. They're looking for a key. I believe that's for Loki's chains, if I had to guess. The guards certainly won't know where it is. If anyone would know the location of the key, and this is Roto saying this, it would either be Chief Jarl or a few of the elders. And Luffy's off in the background. Oh, the old sword Gramps. I wonder if he'd tell us. He would never give it to you. Freeing Loki would be a terrible crime. So yes, they are trying to free Loki. Makes sense. Okay. Zoro's saying, we didn't decide we were going to free him yet either. And Luffy's just laughing and running around. You're so strict, Zoro. Nami's off in the background. Hey, look, over here. What's up? And Roto's just kind of gulping. He doesn't want them to see what, Oh, okay, I see. Red carpet, traces of opulence. Could that be the throne room? But pardon us. Whoa! And yeah, we see just kind of a bigger splash here. It's taking up half the page, this panel. And yeah, it's just a ruined throne room. You can see the pentagram where the Holy Knights were summoned. Jeez, it's all busted up. The scars of battle here are vicious. Even the ceiling's missing. It is the throne room. What is that strange mark? Mark? What mark? Oh, you're right. It looks like a magic circle out of a book or something. Magic what? The one time Luffy doesn't say, oh, it's a magic something or other. It's actually magic. It's the thing they use in ritual demon summoning in some country or other. Yeah, pentagram, demons. That tracks. What? They call demons? Beats me. What is such a thing doing in the throne room? It's eerie. And Luffy's just, thinking about it. I feel like I've seen something like this lately, though. You have, Luffy, you have Luffy, I promise. Straw Hat Luffy. You just hear a speech bubble saying that. Huh? Roto's like, who's that, a demon? It's obviously not a demon. Who is it? Is it a lost soul from beyond the grave come to haunt us? So yeah, Roto's freaking out. Nami's like, come on, dude. I've been hoping to meet you. Roto's like kneeling. He's like, rest spirit of the dead, rest spirit of the dead. Whoa, who is that? Show yourself. Are you a demon summoned to this place? I just knew this castle was haunted. Why did I say castle like that was a castle? You must flee before the ghost haunts us too. Luffy's like, wait, don't run, Roto. And you see this axe flying, and it nearly hits Roto. Just this giant axe lodging itself into the wall. Wait. Psh. Whoa. Nami's flying. Eek, don't drop us. And yeah, Roto's freaking out, so he's dropped them. But Luffy catches them. They're like, whew, thanks. Ah, someone's on the chair. And Roto is in the background, like, forgive me, Ultra Nami. I'm gonna smack you. And Roto's just like, ah. Ah, it's Sir Ya. But why are you here? And yeah, we see the guy walking. We saw walking up to the castle that last week. That totally wasn't talking to Crocus hundreds of chapters ago. That we totally didn't see waiting for Luffy here just a few chapters ago. Totally isn't Scott Gabon. Absolutely isn't. Um, yeah, we get his official text box. His name is Human, former pirate living in Elbaf, Mr. Ya. Y-A, not Y-E. We don't talk about that. I felt some very abnormal hockey coming from the castle earlier. It seems to have left, but now I find you here instead. I've heard the stories about you, Straw Hat Luffy, including that you took care of Kaido. Boy, I'd love to go traveling around Wano again. Clearly, you've got the hat and the robe and... Anyway. Huh? Surya? He goes by Mr. Ya in Elbaf. You went by the school, correct? Did you not meet a teacher named Ripley there? He is her husband. That's one of the things I got spoiled on. Oh, so you're the dad of that giant shrimp. Giant shrimp? I guess I am. So you met Colin and Ripley, eh? He took on a lot of giant's blood. He grew up without me being able to hold him in my arms. Would you believe he's 20, and Ripley is 80? She's older than me. Let me tell ya, marrying a giant's not worth it. I get older, they stay the same age. Nami's like, that's a good point. I'm just surprised to hear that someone's actually done it. Me too. And yeah, Mr. Ya jumps down, he lands. Love is free. There are many mixed blood races throughout history. The Buccaneers, the Dosundata, the Long Arms and Long Legs, and the Wotans. Wutang? These blended peoples don't tend to last long, but in every era there have always been those who are more open-minded. Ah. And Zoro's like, you seem to know a whole lot. Who are you anyway? And he says, I am the preacher of love. That sounds like what Sanji will be when he's... Oh, that's Luffy saying that. That sounds like what Sanji will be when he's older. Anyway, I'm searching for the key to Loki's cuffs. Just... and Roto's in the background. Don't just tell him about it. And he wouldn't know anyway. Luffy's like, oh, forget I said that. And Zoro's just like, it's too late. And Mr. Ya's like, Loki, eh? Fascinating. If there's one thing I love, it's other people causing trouble. And Nami's like, that's really tacky. You better not tell anybody about this. Young lady, secrets are born to be spread. No, stop that right now. This guy's just great. Do you know what kind of man Loki is? The worst should happen because of this. What's your plan? Luffy's just like, I'll beat him up and put the chains back on him. Years ago, a man named Red-Haired Shanks captured Loki. But prior to that, no one was ever able to stop him. If you don't know what kind of power Loki has or what damage he might do... Hey, wait! And Luffy's walking away. Let's look for the key. I think he's going to be yapping for a while. This is a 10 out of 10 Luffy chapter. Incredible stuff. Wait! You're wasting our time. He's giving us a warning. You should listen to him. And Nami's like, we should listen. Hold on. Roto's like, I'm sorry, Sir Ya. They're just... Huh? And we're seeing a flashback. Oh, we're seeing a flashback here. This is Roger here, and who's he talking to? It looks like... Kind of looks like Rayleigh and Scopper from the old days. I'm sick of all your warnings. Are you afraid? I didn't say that. If you want to stop me, you'll have to do it by force. I'm telling you to be aware of the risks, idiot Roger. And we're cutting back to the present time. So, I mean, that's basically confirmation that this is Scopper Gabon. Though I'm sure we'll get confirmation on that just a little bit. We see Roto still talking to Mr. Ya. Hey, Roto, go up to the throne and push it. Huh? So we're cutting away. We're cutting back to the main hall of Elbaf where the festival's going on. In the old Pirate King's crew, there were 2 others who were especially strong, aside from Roger himself. And Usopp's like, oh yeah? I'm guessing it's Rayleigh and someone else? That's right. One time, and this is either Oima or Kashi. do not. I have not read that part in Annie's Lobby enough to differentiate them. Again, John's probably like screaming he's gonna have an aneurysm because I don't remember his name. That's right. One time Roger, the captain, needed to rest and heal. So he and this other fellow went to a hospital in the mountains. Unfortunately, it got surrounded by a bunch of enemy pirates. But this fellow went out on his own and took down hundreds of enemies with just his 2 axes. Just 2 axes. Alright, listen. Some of my favorite characters of Fire Emblem only use axes. So if that's Scopper's weapon of choice, he's already one of my favorites. Okay. By himself with 2 axes? But there's more. In the place where he fought, there was only the bald mountainside left behind, with not a single tree standing. What? That seems a little excessive. And because of that, he gained the epithet of Mountain Eater. You just see Jim in the back. It's a well-known story. After the first mate Silver's Rayleigh, this man was known as the Pirate King's left arm. Badass. Alright, here we go. A hidden room. I can only assume Nami is saying, a treasure chamber? Oh, no, that's probably, that's someone else. But because then you see Nami saying, I love you, Mr. Ya. Treasure, treasure, and you just see Nami's just so happy about this. Roto's like, how did you know about this, Sir Ya? Exploring's my thing. Whoa! Nami's just in the back with Sparkle Eyes. Treasure? A treasure chest room? They're all empty. But it was a treasure room. You lied to me. Hey, don't blame me. It's an abandoned castle. The perfect target for burglars. But look. Oh, a key. Here's something no burglar would care to take. And Luffy's just like, yes. In other words, releasing Loki is something even the wicked dare not do. So, will you still take this key? Huh? What? Yes, he's here. He's been living in Elbaf for over 20 years. Really? A legendary figure who stood shoulder to shoulder with Roger and Rayleigh. The left arm of the Pirate King. Scopper Gaban. And you just see him holding the key, saying, then take it from me, if you can. To be continued, chapter 1139. And what a chapter. What a chapter. Man, Elbaf's been firing on all cylinders, so I'm just gonna take a second, just kind of process all of this. Like, we didn't get a whole lot. Okay, well, I take that back. We did get some new information, not necessarily about Scott. Well, okay, I take that back. We got a lot of good info about Scopper. A lot of good world building happening in this chapter. Where do I even begin? I guess we'll have to go back to the beginning. I mean, surface level thoughts right now. This was a really good chapter. This isn't as good, I think, as the Rayleigh reveal, because that really was just out of left field and like, oh shit, the first mate of the Pirate King is here. What does that mean? Here it's kind of like, well, we meet this stranger and we're kind of building him up, and of course, like Crocus, and I think that's the only other person of the Roger Pirates aside from Shanks and Buggy that we've met. He's quirky and he's just kind of a weirdo, which is great. If you're in One Piece, you kind of have to be a weirdo. But it really is just kind of a slow build to the ultimate reveal that this is Scopper Gaban, the left hand of the Pirate King. And I don't think we knew that bit. But again, we'll go through it page by page. Let's see. But overall, yeah, good chapter. I think, like I said, not a whole lot of new information. It's just some world building, and we're slowly building up to the ultimate conflict with the Holy Knights, and getting reintroduced to Scopper. So, oh yeah, I should point out, that's really not much of a spoiler. We all kind of knew it was going to be Scopper Gaban, but I did get spoiled that it was Scopper and that he was Ripley's husband. So we will go through this page by page. Nothing here on this first page. Zoro being hesitant to free Loki, it makes sense. He is the sensible, level-headed one of the group. Luffy's just laughing it off, like, yeah, okay, he's still gonna try and free him. Roto asking for pardon as they enter the throne room without being let in. It's good stuff. It's just subtle characterization. And we see the pentagram. That let's stop and talk about this for a second. Looks like a magic circle out of a book or something. It's the thing they use in ritual demon summoning in some country or other. What they call demons? Beats me. So right there, this could either be setting us up for the origin of the Gorosei, or no. I think this is going to ultimately tie into the origins of the Gorosei. I think they are actually demons, tying into the whole devil fruit motif. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Um, but that would make sense that they would be sent here because that was the summoning circle that was used to summon the other Gorosei back in the Egghead. So it makes sense. Some country or other. I wonder if that's the natural enemy of the Kingdom of D. I mean, we're getting all sorts of hints towards the backstory of what happened during the Void Century, what happened during the First Era as well, and the Second Era. So this is clearly teasing out some more history, some more lore behind the Gorosei, and potentially the Holy Knights. I don't actually think the Holy Knights are demons. I think they're just kind of hired up from the Marines or the. Well, actually, I guess we don't really know where they come from, do we? So we'll have to see. I kind of assume it's kind of like Bleach, where if like you're a really good squad captain, you get taken up to Squad 0, but I don't know if it's necessarily like that. Okay, yeah, Luffy struggling to think what it is. I don't think he'll put it together. I think they'll run into the Holy Knights before he remembers. Oh shit, that was where this big spider guy came from. Uh, yeah, and then we get this giant axe here, which is indicative of who Scopper Gaban is, and it's a big axe too. Like that's as big as Roto's head, pretty much. So dude's got some strength, which we shouldn't be surprised by. He was the left hand of the Pirate King, or is, I should say. And Roto being afraid of ghosts, even though, yeah, it's just great. Uh, yeah, Mr. Ya. I'm wondering if there's anything more to that name than meets the eye. Scott, because it doesn't necessarily. Maybe in Japanese, in the original text, it is something that's indicative of Scopper Gaban, but I don't know. I'm just curious what the point was of hiding that this is Scopper right now. Because it can't. I have to wonder that. I have to wonder that because we spend the once we meet Mystery Yacht, we spend the rest of the chapter slowly building up to the reveal that this is Scott Gaban. Um, so I don't know necessarily what the point of introducing him, giving him a text box even as Mystery Yacht. So I wonder if there's going to be more to that. If we're going to circle back to that. Because it feels odd to not just introduce him outright. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, and I'm just curious. There's some intent here, I just don't know what yet. Yeah, and he felt some of normal hockey, obviously the Holy Knights. That'll be Shamrock and Gunko. Let's see. And listen, he has heard news that he took down Kaido, which means that can mean a couple of things. Is that? Oh, I guess that was kind of a bit ago, but that doesn't necessarily change where I'm going with this. Because Elbaf's not unlike Wano, where it's kind of more isolated. It's not controlled by the world government. That's why the Holy Knights are here. So I can't imagine that he's getting news all that often. So the fact that news of that has even made it here, it means he's well connected. And I mean, it can mean that. It could also mean he's just getting news from the news coups, and they do actually deliver out here. So it could be something, could be nothing. Probably nothing if I'm being real. But yeah, you mentioned he'd love to go traveling around Wano again. Makes sense if he was in Roger's crew that he would have been there. I kind of want to go back and read Odin's flashback and see what Scopper was up to during that. Okay. So yeah, we get the reveal that Ripley is Scopper's wife and that Colin is his son. And I don't think we actually had an age for Ripley or Colin. He's 20 and she's 80, which makes sense. They still relatively young for giants as far as that goes. Let's see. Yeah, and he's all about love. That's his quirk. I do like it. It's a lot more goofy. Like, what's a good way to put it? It's kind of like Sanji in the Trial of Love, where he's not being a perv. He's just all about love. You know what I mean? So there's that. Oh, we also get this. Many mixed blood races throughout history. I really wanted to stop and just think about this for a second. The Buccaneers, the Dos and Dada, the Long Arms and Long Legs, and the Wotans. like we just got a subtle lore drop that Buccaneers are mixed blood. Now, what are they a mixed blood race of? I have to imagine, because we know one Buccaneer and his name is Kuma. Um, I have to imagine that this mixed blood is the mixed races there would be human and it can't be giant because Colin would be a Buccaneer then, right? Or maybe it's just maybe mixed blood. See, this is the thing. John works at the Animals. He might have a better idea of how mixed blood can help a species appear. Like what? But I guess the world of One Piece doesn't necessarily follow the rules of nature here. I'm trying to remember if we've ever met Dosen Dada or Wotan. That sounds awfully familiar. Dosen Dada's One Piece. Yeah, I don't think. Okay. Because, like, the first thing I thought of was the guy in the New Fishman Pirates that was with Hody Jones. His name was Dosen, but that's it. And then the Wotans. I feel like Giant and Fishman. Oh, we have met Wotans. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's for those of you that also forgot, like me, would be what's his name? Big Pan Pickles and Hamburg from Long Green Longland on Foxy's crew. Those are Wotans. So that's interesting. Okay. Oh, I guess Big Pan is the only one, not necessarily Pickles or Hamburg, which makes more sense. Okay. Interesting. I totally forgot about that. Good to know. But yeah, long arms, long legs. Where are they mixed race of? We'll have to. I don't want to spend all day speculating on where these races come from, the genealogy of all that, but I think that is interesting bit of world building. I wasn't expecting this chapter. Let's see. Yeah, and we get a great bit about Luffy just being unable to lie or hide anything. He's just He's just honest to a fault. Yeah, and Scopper's just all about people causing trouble. That's interesting. I don't know if that really means anything. That might just speak to who he is as a person. Maybe maybe that's why he followed Roger. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you could dissect that. I don't think we know enough about him to really, really, really pull apart all the layers of that. But I'm curious now. Well, here, actually, you know what? I'm gonna put a pin in this, and we're gonna come back to that. But we also do get a better look here of his face, and he's got a scar on his right side here. I'll be curious. I wonder what that's from. I don't know if we'll get that story necessarily. Let's see. And Luffy just bluntly saying, "Yeah, if he causes trouble, I'll beat him up and put the chains back on him." Just like it's a matter of fact, like it's just a done and dusted if the worst should happen. Um, yeah, and yeah, he's reminding us that Shanks captured Loki, but prior to that, no one was ever able to stop him. And yeah, of course, Luffy leaving in the middle of the warning, and Zoro's like, "You're wasting our time," which is saying something. Um, yeah, we get this flashback. This is again, we've seen this with Rayleigh, and we've seen this with yeah, mostly Rayleigh, but they're reminded of Roger in the way that he's going ahead, just ignoring all the warnings, just going through with what he wants to do with his whims and stuff. Um, so yeah, we don't get any indication of what they're arguing about. I think it's more so just to be like, oh, this guy's from the Roger Pirates. He knew Roger, and there's again more parallels between Roger and Luffy and who they are as people. Yeah, I mean then the reveal of the throne room, and then we're back at the banquet on and Kashir explaining who Scopper Gaban is, and we get the origin of the Mountain Eater epithet, which John can remind me, or the comics can remind me. Did we know about the Mountain Eater epithet for Scopper Gaban? Was that ever revealed in like an OBS or something? OBS. SBS, my bad. That didn't sound right. Okay. One time the Roger the captain needed to rest and heal. So I wonder if this is when he got the official diagnosis that he was dying, or maybe it's connected to that. I imagine we'll get a more detailed Roger flashback that's not just tied to Odin, or maybe we won't. I don't know. There's still bits of Roger's story that we need to know, I think, before we finish the story. So I think we'll get more on that later. But we are going through this story of the origin for his epithet, so we can kind of glaze over that once we get past to the actual flashback, I think. This fellow went out on his own and took down hundreds of enemies with just his two axes. I mean, that's just badass. That's how you build up a character right there. The place where he fought, there's only the bald mountainside left behind, not a single tree standing. So I wonder if that has anything to do with his style, or maybe, is it because he's using axes that the trees were just a part of the casualties? I wonder. I wonder. And yeah, it's a well-known story, so it is very possible that we knew about this. Maybe this is Oda being like, this wasn't an SBS if you were paying attention. Maybe that's his way of like saying, hey, faithful readers will remember that, yeah, Scopper Gaban is the Mountain Eater. So yeah, we have. It could also just be Jinbei being, knowledgeable about older pirates because he is in fact probably the oldest on the crew. Yeah. Yep, and then yeah, Pirate King's left arm makes sense, and then yeah, we get the official reveal that it is Scopper Gaban, and he's testing Luffy to steal the key from him. That's the official reveal of that. And I like this little speech he gives. It's an abandoned castle, the perfect target for burglars. But look, here's something no burglar would care to take. In other words, releasing Loki is something even the wicked dare not do. So, will you still take this key? Then take it from me if you can. And I think that's just a badass way to have Luffy square up against Scopper Gaban. And I have to wonder, because we've had other people put Luffy through his paces and test him and train him in a way. So I can see this going one or two ways. Gonna have Luffy maybe use his brain for once and outthink him in a way, or because either we fight or we do something else as a joke and we don't fight. But I think we do fight here. I think we get an idea of just how strong Scopper Gaban is, as well as how far Luffy's come. And also, we're how many chapters into Elbaf, and we haven't really gotten any big action scenes from Luffy. So this will be, yeah. Ultimately, I think if what we were saying last week, and that third Holy Night that's coming, it shows up in the throne room, I think we could build up to a confrontation there, and then have Luffy and Scopper score up against them. We'll see. But I would be curious to see this because he's probably not the strongest on the crew, Scopper, that is. I would imagine that would be Roger. But I don't know how he compares to Rayleigh. I don't know how he compares to some of the other people we've seen on his crew. And I know that what's his name, Douglas Bullet on One Piece Stampede was a part of that crew, but I don't necessarily count that as canon. I count his existence as canon, to be clear. I don't count him and his confrontation with Luffy and the other supernovas to be canon. So we've not really actually gone up against a member of the Roger Pirates, aside from Buggy, but I don't count that either. I'm talking about like main crew, not cabin boy. So this will be like our first time squaring up against someone from the Roger Pirates, like officially, because like, even when we were with Rayleigh, he trained him. I forget if I have to go back and look when Rayleigh was training Luffy and he left him on Ruskaina Island. If he ever said anything along the lines of "There's nothing more I can teach you, learn from the animals" or something like that, I'd have to go back. Maybe we've gotten some sort of indication that Luffy's at their level already, if not about there. I don't. I don't know, because if he's the left arm of the Pirate King, I consider Zoro to be Luffy's right hand. I would then consider probably Sanji to be the left arm. So I don't know. I kind of like to see Sanji up against Scopper, but I think this will be a good way to see where Luffy's at in comparison to the real crew that found the One Piece first. So yeah, looking forward to this matchup. Again, trying to figure out why exactly we didn't just have this reveal to begin with. I don't know. Why don't we just call him Scopper right off the bat? It's interesting. I don't know if that'll come back or not. But what was I looking at earlier? Yeah, he loves other people causing trouble, and yet he wants Luffy to take the key from him because he knows just what'll happen if Loki's freed, because he was probably here when that happened. Or no, he probably was, because yeah, the only time he's been restrained was Shanks. So yeah, and Shanks would have been, he would have been at least have been an emperor close to. So yeah, Scopper could have been here by that point. Um, which leads me to quite yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's dig on that a little bit more. Was he here when Loki was here and killed King Harold? Was he here when when Loki was restrained? And if he was, why didn't he help? I think we can tie that back to when he says, "If there's one thing I love, it's other people causing trouble." So I think that's kind of planting the seed for why he didn't interfere then. So I'll be curious. That's just theory. That's just an idea. I'm just going off of what's here in the text, what's here in the chapter. Um, so I'm also curious too if there's anything else other than empty treasure chests. Because if you're Nami, of course, all you're gonna look for is treasure. But if you're Robin, I wonder if there's something else in here. Kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Yeah, I really don't think I have much else. I think there's a lot of seeds being planted here, a lot of potential story routes here, potential conflicts as well. Um, yeah, I mean this right here, this battle between Luffy and Scopper. I don't know why it's giving me vibes of Luffy in Udon Prison, where he's being trained by Hyogoro. Um, I don't know why I'm getting vibes of that, because I don't think it'll be quite like that necessarily. So, but I am. That's just how it is. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Are we back for another chapter next week? Let's see here. 14 days. No, it looks like we are on break. Okay. Well, that's all right by me. So yeah, we'll be back. We'll probably. Oh my gosh, excuse me. So we'll be back with a new chapter at the very least. Maybe we'll do some fun content on the side for the break next week. Maybe not. We've all been just a bit busy lately. So yeah, if you're not watching our One Piece content, we'll be streaming some. I think we're trying to do some Civ 7 this week when that drops on Tuesday. I think we'll probably stream that Wednesday as of recording this, and then we'll be back with some other games later. I think we're going to try and go for the zombies, either zombies or another game. I forget where we're at, but point being, we stream games every typically Mondays and Thursdays. John's going to be a little less available moving forward because of life, and so we'll be doing some other stuff. We'll see, and then we'll have some side streams on the side. It'll be fun. So, and more, of course, more One Piece content, more movie and trailer reactions. So if you like any of that stuff and you enjoyed what you've seen here today, stay tuned. Keep watching. Thanks for tuning in today. We love you. Goodbye.